Well, we're at the baseball winter meetings in San Diego with Harold Reynolds of MLB Network, and MLB Network is pretty busy here, cranking out a lot of live coverage, right, Harold?
No doubt about it. 13 hours of live coverage every day, and we've got 6 or 7 guys really diving in, getting all the information from Ken Rosenthal to John Heyman to Joel Sherman, you name it. So we've been on it pretty good.
A former Oriole here, played for the Birds back in 1993, so Oriole fans remember Harold. And you've been talking a lot about the Orioles here, obviously, in the last 24 hours with the situation with Dan Duquette. What is your read on that right now?
Well, it's real interesting. I think the first thing that stood out to me was it's within the division. Not only in the American League, but in your division. So anytime a guy has an opportunity to take a step up higher, you hope that opportunity works out for that individual. But he and Buck Showalter have done a great job of really revitalizing the Orioles, making them competitive again, and really making it a place of destination up there to go watch games again. So I'd hate to see it happen, but on the other side, I understand if Dan has an interest in going, I can understand that as to why he would.
Does this make this a tough or distracting week for Dan Duquette to do his job as the general manager of the Orioles?
No, I think he's professional enough. He's got enough good relationships to really get things done. Obviously the Orioles losing Markakis, you end up losing Nelson Cruz, but you got Wieters coming back, and you're going to get a chance to get healthy, and Chris Davis comes back. So I think that might have played in a little bit into their thinking as well. But they've still got work to do. But I think when you're in this confined opportunity where every GM is here, you get your work done. I think Dan will get his work done.
Been busy in the American League East. Boston has added, Toronto has added, the Yankees got Andrew Miller away from the Orioles, Tampa Bay has a new manager and a new GM. What about the Orioles and their standing right now? Has the balance of power shifted a little bit?
Well, what's interesting is that in my mind it shifted a little bit to the West Coast last year. They've done the big splash signings with the free agents, so it was good to see the American League East have all this upheaval and turn that now you got them talking about the East once again. But it's going to be a battle. I think anytime you're up against the Yankees and the Red Sox with their money and their resources and their ability to snap their fingers and change the direction of their organization, changes that whole division. We saw it again this year with Boston being able to go out and sign $200 million players. How many teams can do that? So that's a tough group to be in to fight and compete with every year.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the East, you've seen teams with lower payrolls like Baltimore and Tampa compete with, and in some respects beat Boston and Toronto, but Boston and New York. But the money's always going to be there for those teams.
Well, yeah, it's like having a deep bench. You can play for so long with a great starting lineup. You have one injury, and next thing you know, you start to tinker down a little bit. And I think the same thing with the Yankees and the Red Sox. They continue to be there every year. They're going to knock on your door constantly. With the Orioles right now, you have to have everything work out perfect. And we saw that last year. Hopefully someday they can get to a point where it doesn't have to be like that. But if you win championships, it's always the bench. And to stay consistent with an organization, it's always the money that helps you continue to do that.
You guys know Buck Showalter well. What do you think it's like for the players playing for him, and how much difference can a manager make?
He makes a big difference. I think a manager can make all the difference in the world. And, I played for managers that really made my career. I played for Dick Williams, turned me into an all-star player just by challenging me every day, staying on my work habits and execution and fundamentals, and also relationships. So that can happen. I think a manager can have a major impact on a player and on a team. Buck is one of the best. I've watched his personality change. He's allowing the players to be themselves a little bit more, but he's still got that tight rein of understanding how you win games, and he does a great job of that.
And finally, Harold, the Orioles need outfielders. We know that. Cruz is gone. Markakis is gone. What's their best play? What do you think their best move? The trade? You have Kemp, you have Upton, you have some free agents out there, Aoki, Cabrera. What do you think will end up happening with the Orioles in the outfield?
Well, if they make a trade, all the names that have been mentioned, I think Justin Upton's the best move for them. You're looking at a guy who's 26, 27 years old. If you can lock him up and keep him there long term, now you're looking at a player you can have for another 8-9 years. You got to get some stability that's going to allow you to have some longevity in the organization. He's a kid from Chesapeake, Virginia, but I think also he's going to hit 30 home runs in that ballpark every year. He'd be the best fit for me.
Harold, thanks so much for taking time. We love the work of MLB Network.